For more than a decade now, SERV International has been on a mission to share the love of Christ by feeding some of the most underprivileged in our societies, mainly working in informal settlements in urban setups and widespread poverty-stricken areas like Turkana County.
Hapa kwetu hapa iko na shida, hata barabara hakuna mahali pa kupita, hata mahali pa kupata chakula, hata mahali pa kupata dawa ni ngumu hapa kwetu hapa.
For ages, these semi-arid areas have been marginalized, resulting into very little and slow infrastructural and economic development interventions. Consequently, this area has attracted interventional activities from government and charity organizations. When SERV threw its hat in the ring, running a feeding program in the area, it was with knowledge of the challenges and with clarity that you never set out on such a journey without partnerships. Jewels of Ubaga, a progressive group of widows based in Siaya County, initially disenfranchised by loss of their husbands and having to raise their families on their own and of little support from their communities, have found formidable and productive strength in purposeful association towards pulling themselves up psychosocially and economically.
It was started to empower widows economically through savings and loaning, horticulture, pottery, bead making. We had one greenhouse, and through hard work, our sponsors failed to add us 5 more. So far, we have 6, and at now, we have managed to plant tomatoes, capsicums, onions, kales.
We source the vegetables that are grown by these women, and they do the harvesting, and we send our vehicle to go and pick these vegetables. We bring them over to Nakuru, where we do the drying by a company which is specialized in drying of vegetables. They mix different kind of vegetables like kales, cabbages, carrots, and after that one is done, they are packaged again and brought over to Nairobi for repackaging, because we open them again and now mix them with lentils, rice, and also a bit of salt for the sake of course, preserving this food. And also we do put vitamins as another way of trying to make this food as nutritious as possible.
Our partnership with Mission Aviation Fellowship is based on unity of mission and purpose.
SERV is one of our long-running Christian partners. For as long as I've been serving with MAF in the last 12 years, I know we've been flying them at least every other year. So basically we've been offering them passenger service. They normally bring in missionary partners from the US, and because of road transport between Nairobi and Lodwar, it would typically take you 3 or 4 days. And because they are partners on short-term missions, time is of essence for them. So we offer them subsidized flights to Lodwar airstrip.
The journey of SERV Miracle Food to Nabuskal village in Turkana County, approximately 940 kilometers, is a constant of purpose to share the love of Christ by delivering food to people who need it the most. One of the recipients of today's package is a young girl called Eweyerot. She is an orphan being raised by her mother together with her 5 siblings. As usual, it's an early morning flight. Our food package arrives at MAF Kenya Wilson office at 6:30 a.m. We are received by Mr. Caleb, who helpfully takes us through the check-in process.
When it was booked, I was told there are food items, so we know it is non-DG, non-dangerous cargo as categorized for air cargo. So we have an electronic scale that measures to the gram. For MAF, safety is one of our prime concern, and it has what has given us an edge over many other operators. We give it first priority, and that's why we need to know the cargo that you are transporting.
Our carrier is scheduled to depart from Wilson Airport at 8:30 a.m. for a landing in Lodwar around 11 a.m. We landed in Lodwar at around noon because there was a slight delay in departure. This route can be unpredictable sometimes. Once landed, always on a mission and practically living it, Christian helps to offload the boxes onto the tarmac, and we have more than enough passengers willing to help push the trolleys to the waiting bay.
It's very important that this work that SERV is doing is continuing on. The people here are really struggling in especially remote areas. They're very vulnerable. They need the help. Just to give an example now, besides that they live in very remote areas, they also have to deal with the COVID pandemic, the locusts that are here, the drought. So all that brings lots of challenges for these people, especially those vulnerable like orphans and elderly, really need help in food, in sustainable solutions. And we are very happy and proud that we can partner together with SERV to reach these people.
The packages are loaded onto the SERV Land Cruiser and off we go to the nearest filling station. This is actually the only filling station stocking diesel fuel in the whole of Lodwar town. We are crossing our fingers in hope that fuel doesn't run out before we get to the pump. It's eventually our turn at the pump, and we can't be sure that we will find fuel the next time we are at the pump, so we fill both tanks for contingency. Our next stop is the House of Hope. House of Hope was started in November 2008. Over the years, it has become SERV's valued partner in food distribution for the feeding program. The sight of the vehicle and food boxes atop, it always elicits spontaneous celebration. The convoy was heartily received by the children with praise songs, and it's at this point that we realize that no barrier will stop us from doing this over and over again. More boxes are loaded on the vehicle destined to Nabuskal village.
Right now we are taking our route to Nabuskal. This is a village in southern Lodwar town where we have identified a family that needs care. This is a family of about 6 children with orphans, and we have identified one of the kids that really need food, and today we are heading to these places. We are going to this place where we can meet the people of the community, having a church fellowship. As you know very well, with the SERV International, we are using everything as a platform to share the gospel of Christ.
Our journey to Nabuskal, 67 kilometers from Lodwar town, officially begins. Thankfully, it's a rather dry time of the year with no rains, but the journey never lacks tussles, being that the tarmac ends only a few kilometers from the town. The place is so remote that one has to have a trail vehicle to help in case of any emergencies.
We are almost losing the box, but thank God we are on the back of the truck to make sure that it's really safe. That's why we get 2 trucks, one to escort the package to make sure that it's reaching its destination. We are trying to make sure that the package is secure.
Telephone network is on and off and very unreliable in case of emergencies. Our arrival at Nabuskal village was that of a king returning from a hunt of goodies. The women were more than happy to receive us as Moses joined in the dance and praise. Pastor Moses seems to be a Messiah sent from heaven to come at the right moment to save humanity. A brief word of God from Moses as the women sat on the ground and men on their unique stools. Moses led the food distribution as each woman was given 2 packets of SERV food to support them during this period. Women and children left in different small groups with smiles on their faces. Eweyerot's home is another 6 kilometers from the current stop. Her package remains strapped on top of the vehicle. Unbeknown to us, Their family has moved a few kilometers from the last spot Moses left them some time back. We had to be escorted by the local pastor to their new home. Being nomads, it's normal for families to shift locations in search of water and pasture for their animals. For Ewayerot's family, this was not the case. They had just lost the man of the house. The Turkana custom states that the family has to move and erect a new home and bury the deceased in the God's scroll. On arriving at Ewayerot's home, we find the whole family seated under the shade cast by the attached house as it was extremely hot. The family welcomes us and we finally get to deliver the package to its final destination. Ewayerot and a mom prepares a quick meal to share with the equally starving children. The joy visible on their faces as they partake the meal clearly says that all the mileage and sufferings to deliver the package was more than worth it. SERV International delights in continued work with MAF and other partners, going the extra mile in delivering food, hope, smiles and the love of Christ to those who need it the most.